So the question about Nitro. So here is another interesting story. For whatever reason, we fell out with Blackout, and genuinely, I don't remember the specifics of it. We were, I believe, just not happy with whatever they were doing, but I don't recall the specifics. But it also like wasn't like terrible. It was semi-amicable, and I believe he had a option for a second album, and we said, how about we give you an EP and you let us out? And he said okay, and that's why we put out the contract EP. That's why it's called The Contract. And then we couldn't find anyone to sign us, and it seemed like nobody was interested. And so again, I remember this so distinctly. We were working at Merch Direct at the time, which was this t-shirt company that Justin from Glassjaw started. And the early days of Merch Direct was just all the dudes from Kill Your Idols, the dudes from Silent Majority, me, Christian, and Mike from Crime and Stereo. Just a bunch of like legendary Long Island dudes, Hugo Fitzgerald and Brian Meehan from Kill Your Idols. All these people were there. And we were sitting there kind of just talking about how much it sucked that nobody wanted to sign us. And we were talking to Jay Reason, who was this East Coast hardcore dude. There's another legendary dude. And he used to run Jamie Josta's label, Stillborn. And we were friends with him. We used to play with The Distance all the time. Shout out Jay Reason, awesome dude. And he was like, hey, man, like, I love your band. We all love your band. Like, we'd love to sign you to Stillborn. And he was like, it's probably not. And at the time, this was like Sworn Enemy, was like huge on that. And, it was like, it's probably not what people think of when they think of Crime and Stereo, but like, if nobody wants to sign you, we'd love to have you guys on Stillborn. And we literally were about to send the email to be like, we'd love to sign to Stillborn. Let's do this. And an email came in from Nitro saying, hey, we'd love to sign your bands. Can you please give us a call? Blah, blah, true cold call email. And I like, we will never forget it, that we were sitting at the computer, basically about to sign to Jamie from Hatebreed's label, and Nitro emailed us. The flip side to that story is even better. What had happened was Dexter Holland, the singer from The Offspring, his best friend is this guy, Jason, an amazing dude. He is the guy whose voice is saying, gotta keep them separated.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Come out and play. So that guy, the guy whose voice you hear in that song, is Dexter Holland's lifelong best friend, who he's on Smash, he's on Ixnay on the Ombre, he's got like platinum records all over his house, and he was the Offspring's roadie and guitar tech in their earliest days. By the time this happened, he had moved to Seattle, was living in Seattle with his wife and kids, and Dexter, if you don't know this, like, he's a pilot, he flies planes himself and also owns several of his own planes, so he just like flies around doing what he wants to do. So he randomly had flown up to Seattle and went out for a beer with Jason and was just lamenting that like he felt like nothing cool was happening at Nitro because AFI had just left. So there was like, you had the big, huge AFI years, and that was also like Guttermouth and, Jughead's Revenge and Vandals, and they had all this big stuff, and it's almost like all of that stuff petered out at the same time. And he was commiserating with his best friend saying, this sucks, I have no bands to sign. And this dude goes, you have to listen to this record. And he takes Dexter Holland to his car and plays him Explosives. And Dexter gets back in his plane, flies back to LA, goes into Nitro the next day and tells his A&R guy, sign this band. The dude emails us in that moment. That's when we get the email, so we don't sign to Stillborn. And then like a week later, he flew out to New York to see us at a Kill Your Idol show. And then we signed with them, and they were amazing. Sean Zebarth is the dude who signed us. He signed No Trigger, Wilhelm Scream. That's how that roster of Nitro all happened kind of in that moment, because Dexter was trying to like replenish the roster. They had this dude, Sean, the A&R guy there, who was like the most amazing dude ever. And he signed us, No Trigger, Wilhelm Scream, the Swellers. it was awesome. And like, and again, that whole period of our lives is just like such an amazing memory. Offspring used to lend us their studio, like their recording studio, to go in and practice. They would. It's so silly to think about now, because in my memory, me in my memory look like I'm 12 years old, but it's like at the time I was actually like 24. But they used to give us full run of their warehouse, Offspring's warehouse. You have never seen an amount of gear like this in your life. I'm not kidding. It's a 20,000 square foot warehouse with road cases stacked to the ceiling. They easily could put on their own arena show by themselves. Like they could show up at Madison Square Garden and do all of the sound with their gear. And they used to just let us climb like mountains of gear, like we were like children, and we would just be like opening road cases and be like, oh, like Marshall 800 head, and like amazing. Pulling out like Les Pauls, and these guys, they would be like, oh, we haven't seen that in 10 years. And it was awesome. It was a really really rad time. And strangely, what happened then is Dexter started a hot sauce company, and then decided that he wanted to pour all of his energy into his hot sauce company, and basically kind of like turned Nitro into a catalog label, and then had this hot sauce company called Gringo Bandito. That was good. It was very good.